Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've been away a few months, but right now I've got a fairly exciting project on the go here, which is this bike frame that I've picked up, which is a P series. You can't really see the stylized logo there. P series specialized small mountain bike, and this rear hub has seen better days. So we're going to get this cleaned up today. Both sides are looking a bit needing some TLC. We're probably going to have to steal some bearings from another hub, but I'm just going to grab out the frame and show you guys what it looks like. This was given away to me from a friend of mine. You know who you are. It's a Specialized Series P, and funnily enough the forks were on a different bike, but I could see that they were actually supposed to be on this frame, so swapped that over. Got a few grips. It's got a really nice wide handlebar width, and the forks are looking pretty good. I've already sanded this little bit of rust off. It's been sitting outside for a while, but it's going to be, as you can see, the frame is small, but it's going to be highly maneuverable. See if I can ride it, but otherwise I'll give it away. It came with this wheel, and of course it's got disc brakes, which is all good, and the forks come with a hydraulic Series P brake system, and I was so excited to have a go at it that I took the screw out of the hydraulic brake at the bottom end, and oil started leaking out. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to YouTube that and work out how to service these brakes. So it's got a hydraulic line that pumps oil from here, the chamber here, down to the piston, which squeezes the brakes together down at the brake disc, which is so cool. I'll leave that on there actually. I'll grab the other wheel. We've got a matching disc brake on this wheel, and it is going to be needing a bit of service as well. It's got the opposite problem to the rear hub. It's just all jammed up in there. But it's nice to have a matching frame to the wheel rims, and I've just ordered another brake system to get down to the rear here. So the mounting is going to be here for the rear brake. It goes on like that, and you can imagine just imagine this brake assembly here bolting on to these mounting points here and gripping this disc. It's all self-explanatory, but as it comes together we'll be able to see how it's going to shape up. Before this happened, I was about to turf this frame because it's so small and I don't have a seat post for it. Or do I have? No, I don't have a seat post at all. Didn't come with one, and that's a 31mm or 30.5 mil seat post. You can buy one of those, so it's not too bad. But I didn't want to start investing money in this until I was sure that I could get all the parts. So it came with a whole bunch of derailleur, rear derailleur, front derailleur. That's actually a spare one I'm sourcing from another bike. But the back derailleur here is really crunchy, as they say. Needs a lot of cleaning, and that's the dedicated shifter for that. Not even sure how that works, because that's definitely on the right side. We've got 1 to 8, and upwards is okay. But then you kind of have to put your finger under, push up, or the thumb goes, the thumb does that as well? I don't know. That's just weird. Never seen one like that before. Anyway, the Specialized bike brand is known for being quite a good high quality setup. So we've got a bottom bracket with spline instead of square push-on tapers. So the spline is slightly tapered, and I think it only goes on one way, or else you're going to end up with them slightly offset. And the very low ratio gear for the rings, and it's got quite a hard outer guard there, so that when you're through the bush you can bash into it with the bottoming out on all of your roots and tree stumps. So that doesn't look too bad, but the cluster on the back, a little bit of wear on that edge of that cog there. That's a classic for shark toothing. And these cogs, that'll be sorted out a little bit with a new chain, but if I can source, those 3 there are loose and the rest of them are bound together. So if I can change these 3 and a new chain, that'll sort out the whole gearing system. So that's the future plan. We've got the bottom bracket here, which I think is still, I've just tied this together so that I don't lose any parts. And as I can feel it's still serviceable. I haven't got a left shifter for this front derailleur. So to start today, I'm going to take apart this back hub, and we'll find some new balls and rebuild this whole thing. Now, it's the usual story with the back hub. These, as I said before, sitting outside for a while, so we've got a fair bit of crunchy rust going on around certain parts. Ideally, always put your springs back on and store this away. I'm going to confuse it. And the classic tool for removing a hub. Not too hard. Sometimes these are forced on like you wouldn't believe. But that one was not too bad. And like I was talking about before, that's like a nut that just keeps the smallest cog on. They're sized according to how many teeth they have, so probably 18. It says it on how much they are actually. Let's have a look. These are really crunchy. Some writing. In the focus. 13 teeth cog, TC. So this one will come off too. Oh, she's not coming off very hard because they're all jammed on. Okay, so in this situation, all of these are in one piece. Usually 3 of them come off, but okay. Maybe that's the 9 speeds, the 3 come off. So this is really crusty, yes. We're looking at that? Yeah, good. We're going to see teeth. I doubt if they're going to number these ones because this is all just one. Ah, wrong again, 15. 15 there. So you can buy these packs of the smaller ones and just swap those, which is perfectly fine as long as you've got a new chain as well and you're home free. So we'll keep all that together. I usually will put a little bit of string around that. So we will just a bit of string. Don't have to waste a zip tie on that. And tie it up. You might see in the background I've got a number of these. So that's all completely waiting for us. And we'll put it over. Just put it there for now because we've got our little thing there. We've got our quick release rod and our cluster together in one place. Now that is crunchy as. We've got no need to take the disc off. That just stays with the hub. But what we will do is look deep down inside here. We'll get the ball bearings out of all of that. And the way you do that is you grab the hub spanners, which are these little pieces here. Very thin and the right size for the hub. I've also got this little puppy, which is higher quality. It's just one single-ended, which I can use for, that's the best one to use for pedals, number 15. Right, first we take it where we can actually see the cone. That's that rusty thing in there. That's going to be a square or just 2 flat sides, but in this case it's a square. There's a couple of washers. They've done that so they can space out the axle so that it fits the frame perfectly. But it's not normal to have washers in there actually. And you can see this side here. There's not much axle sticking out. So this compared to that side, you've got a whole lot more axle sticking out of there. As usual, let's get our sprocket carrier, which is all in one, which has got your, I'm going to call a sprocket carrier, which is just what it is. There must be a different name for that, but anyway, there's enough time now has passed for the WD-40 to have done its work. Let's get into it. Usually that'll be up. If it's a 15, we can use Screw Puppy. And that top one will be a, if it's a 17, I'd be very happy out by gauging these off exactly. We've got 17. The other day I made myself a spanner, which was for taking off pedals. That was a 14. And I ground it out with the file until it was a 15. Go for your 17. Thank you, caller. Now let's turn this the right way. Fingers on spokes so you're not bearing on that other thing. Okay, and that just cracks that. It's just a lock nut action, but now that's actually turning. Let's get that locked on. Okay, so this thing here is just a little nut. And a tiny little washer. Someone's had a go at this before because you don't normally have a little washer like that just underneath it. Put it down by the vise. Now we've got the cone directly now. Why are you not focusing? So there's your cone. I have a little rag. It's because that's still in focus. There we go. So, I can't see any pitting at all. What we're looking for is pitting, and where the bearings have been rubbing, there's a little tiny bit there. Can you see that? Little black spot. It's hardly anything. It's nothing to be worried about. So I'm pretty happy with that cone as it is. And we're really not going for full restoration quality. That's the drive side cone. We should put it there. Okay, it's the one near the vise. Cool. Let's look inside. Come closer. So here we have the axle and the body, which has got its own ratchet and bearings right down inside here, which we don't normally service, but I don't want to lift that up because there is a seal in there. Ah, I see. Right. There's a little, can you see that little seal? That's where the cone, that little groove there, goes down inside and runs that seal inside the cone so no dust gets in from the outside world into these bearings. So ideally speaking, we're going to have a good time and have very clean balls, and all we're going to do is grease these up and put them back in. But I don't want to lift that up too much because we're going to lose our balls out of the underside. Let's just have a look. Still see those? Coming clear now. Alright, we're nearly done. Let's just do this. Hmm. 6.1. Right. These balls themselves, what you want to see is bright. Bright and not dull. And I'm saying to myself, they are bright enough because I don't have spare ones, and I know the other hubs that I've got the same balls in them, but they're not as good as these. Moving around. I've already got one. Take the axle out. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's why you sweep the floor before you do this. Non-drive on the left. This is high stress situation. 9 and 9. So now we've got, yes, nice. So that's your seal. Drive. WD is cleaning and lubricating. But that doesn't need servicing. Although, let me have a look. There's a little bit of pitting in the cup, which I'm not going to worry about. There's some pitting. If I was in the bike shop again, we'd probably worry about that. So the major effect of having pitting, you can see that in there. Little dark spots on the silver. Just there. You can see that, I'm not sure. But if it's really bad, those pits can end up being cracks, and then that whole cup can break inside there. And a medium term is you tighten up all your bearings and your cone. So the cone and the bearings sit between these two surfaces, and it comes around, and then the wheel's wobbly. There, come around, and it's not wobbly because there's parts that are worn and parts that aren't. And that is micromillimeters down here. Translates to when you're on the bike, you can move the wheel up here because the leverage between there and there is so large. It's a long lever. So that's why in a bike shop you'd have that cleaned. Now, the cup, the balls and the cone will be all changed, and your hub will be good as new, literally good as new, except for the bearings inside this, non-serviceable, but you can get a little splined tool and take that off as well. But generally they're okay, those ratchet bearings. I do love my little brass wire brush. Cleans everything off but doesn't damage the steel components, so it's perfect for this sort of job. Look how good that looks. Don't look inside there though, gross. Okay, we're good for this side. Let's clean up the other side. We have another seal. And what side is this? Non-drive side. And the seal is looking a little bit different. It is not a rubber seal. It's just a metal one, which you can see the difference in the setup. There's a little seal there. That comes down on top and over the top of that. So there's a pathway in for the dust, which it has to go on an S-bend to get in there. So that's not going to happen. So we'll clean multiple things to do. We've got to clean that other cone up, and we're going to pop the seal here so that we can not bend it. Ideally a wider. That's why you sweep the floor. In the fullness of time, you don't want any oil or anything on this disc bearing surface, so we'll definitely clean it off with some Turps or degreaser. Now I'm expecting this non-drive side to be fairly clean and pristine. Oh dang! No, that's just dirt. Oh no. There's quite a bit of built up dirt there. Now there's the bearing. There's quite a worn part there, but there's no pitting, which is good. No, that's good. As I expected, this non-drive side is always a bit lighter worn. Less worn than the other one, and it's actually proved by it hasn't got those little cutouts around the cup, so this side's not expected to be as worn out. In the Specialized Workshop design team have not made that to be removed quite as easily. You can always do it by grabbing a big steel bar, running it through if it fits, and it's just quite good to have one of these old stem bolts. Not a self-sealing stem bolt, but it is a bicycle stem bolt. Now, see where that is landing. You can smash that with a hammer, and if you can see the hub, you can see those lines in the hub there. There's little lines there. That's where the cup has been rammed in. So there's a really tight fit between the cup and the hub. And what you can do, like the engineering workshops, will heat this up with a torch, and the cup is in the freezer. So the cup's cold, this hub is hot and expanded, the cup's cold and relatively shrunk because under heat things expand, and the opposite happens in the freezer. So you can bash that in there and let the whole thing come to room temperature, and you're going to have a perfect fit, and it's completely jammed in there without any movement. But that's cool. Let's just repack that with grease. We'll clean up the balls and we will get it all back together. Non-drive side. Oh, the other job we're doing is looking at the cone of this side, which I don't expect anything bad to be happening. There's a little bit of pitting in there. but otherwise a bright line all the way around. That's what we're expecting. So let's just wind that out. And remember, we want to have about the same exposed axle because that's where the frame rests on. There's another one of those little tiny washers in there, I noticed. Well, let's just tighten that up now while we're here. 17. 17? No, that's the 15. Come on. Because once we've... No, that didn't work. Once we lock one side up, right up, then the other side's going to be easier to deal with. So that's locked on. And get a little bit of that rust off. All the way around. Just looks like I bought a brand new one. Cool. Now let's just lock that in, because next minute we're going to have done all of the bearings and we're going to be lowering this whole wheel back down onto this area. You don't want any of this dust to be drawn back into the bearings where we don't need it. Okay. What are we going to do? Yeah, I know it's wrong, but if we can use this side just to put our bearings in, so we can leave that axle sticking out. This is upside down, it's the wrong way around, but that's all good because we're just using it as a place to rest the wheel. Let's just pump some good new grease into there in a satisfying way. How's that? Enough? Yeah. Do you think there could be just enough grease there? Jeez, that's just crap. Okay, that was because it was sitting on the carpet before. So ideally you don't want any rubbish and crap in your grease, and if you can see any, because you're being a bit lazy about where you put your grease gun, and take it out of there. Spread it evenly around, and it has to get down into the cup. Cool, look at that, perfect. All that's going to happen now is we're going to clean our balls, and this is the non-drive side, so I'm going to put the drive side bearings in because it doesn't have much wear, as much pressure on this side. So over there was the drive side gear. This is where the disc brake is on, and that's the, obviously the opposite side to where the sprocket goes. So we're going to be good for putting these bearings in, and I've just polished those up a bit. 2 at a time. Pop, pop. And because there's an axle on the way, they're not going to fall down the hole. Pop, pop. And pop, pop, pop. 2 more. Pop, pop. And is that good enough? They look like they're perfectly spaced and even. Not quite. Just evenly in and around. Push them in. And they're all bedding down for the night inside their own little blanket of grease. Now I'm going to lift the whole thing up and flip it over, but not before. You thought there was too much grease before. Now you can't believe it. For this is coming off the grease end of the grease gun here. It looks atrocious. Is that better? It's better. Cleaner. let's just push that down on top of our little puppies, and if you bang the axle around it's going to dislodge them, so don't do that. That is perfect. So now we've cleaned up our cone down here. I'm going to spin it around, and I know that's the... potentially we should change the cones around too, but now I'm committed to doing this way. Straight down without touching anything else. And the other side here... Damn, we didn't put our seal on. The seal is put on, but it's on an angle, as you can see. And it just needs to be friendly tapped on. So a little bit of rounded wood. Perfect, so we're happy. Okay. Balls, cone, seal, it's all in one place. Now all we have to do is exactly the same on this side. And what balls are we going to use? Everyone shouts at the same time. The non-drive side ball. Yes, correct. You are right. There's cat fur everywhere. Okay. Some healthy squeezes in here. How many? Now these are actually in a better position than the last time because we don't have to move this axle anymore. This is where it's staying. Look at that. It's rearing to go. So there's a whole lot of grease in there. Next comes the seal. This is a rubber seal with a little steel base inside. It's pretty cool. You'll soon see. We're going to put this cone on. I'll just raise that seal up a bit. I don't think it should be that far. It's a silly idea. Wherever the cone ends up being, I can tap that seal down onto it later. So whenever you're doing this, after you've done your bearings, the next thing to come on is definitely the cone. There's no washers in the way. Although there's a whole lot of washers that they give you. You don't need them quite yet. You're just finger tightening this cone down on the axle. Finger tight now, and we will, as you know, the drive side stuff was all over here. The little washer. For what reason, I don't know. Potentially it helps, but the whole thing was a bit loose for my liking, so I don't know if it helps or not. Now there's quite a bit of... I tried to even that out by memory, but that looks a little bit too long anyway. Doesn't matter. The length of that there, we can loosen that out. The length of that, all it has to be is shorter than the internal depth of the frame, where the dropouts are. So I think we're going to be alright. So, while we got it off, let's have a go over here. Now that is very smooth. I'm not going to know for sure. As long as it's not catching on anything, for now that's fine. When I get it back on the bike, we'll know if there's any movement. Potentially we can try wiggling it back and forth, but for now I think what we discovered about the cones, everything else is true. So we haven't tightened that up yet, so let's just give it a little bit of a... The cone's hand tightened, and that's about as good as we're going to get. And now the trick for this is to hold the cone while And this, where's the 15 side? Okay, 15 side. Got to hold that somehow while we do this up, but not turn the axle. That's good. It's exactly what we wanted. Oh. That's it. Just nip it up, and you can just wiggle a little bit if you like while it's in the vise. I think we might have tightened it a bit. Oh fuck! We did. Sorry, language. So we've tightened it slightly. We've tightened the cone down without more than hand tight. So just to roughly solve that, I'll go a quarter of a turn this way without undoing the lock nut, and let's see if that works. Ah, perfect. That's doing the right thing again. Only a quarter of a turn needed. That's very nice. That's very nice. Guarantee to be able to push that in, and that's as tight as you want to make it, and there's no movement. And there's no missing parts lying on the bench from the servicing of the rear hub, so it's even better. That's a totally different quick release rod. Look at that, we've got a matching pair. I don't know where that one came from, but so that one's just come free. Oh, fatal mistake, we didn't do this yet. Just helps so much. It's just like the magic juice. That rubber? Yeah. I suppose the one thing this will hurt is rubber, so don't rub the rubber. And as usual, I'm sure we can. Ooh, there's a bit of. Look at that, how that just comes straight off. Straight off what? That was only held in there by sticking onto the cone, and it just runs free on this hub out here on the surface. So you've got to be careful about making sure the surfaces of your hub are all nice and clean to be. Oof. Oh, that was chunky. That should never do that. That means the cones have actually, the wheel bearings. Oh, they are not looking good. No wonder this wasn't turning at all. Oh my goodness, is a terrible, terrible thing. Rusted cones. Sheesh. The seal comes out. Gently, 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 gently. And look at the state of that. Oh my goodness. I haven't seen a front wheel hub that bad for a long time. This should all be bright steel running in maybe a little bit of oily residue from the grease that was put in there. As it is, these are completely jammed in. The ball bearings have rusted solid. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out 2 by 2. OMG. Look at that one. Oh my god, I can't even get my screwdriver between it. Ugh. This has been sitting outside so long. Look at the rust caking all that. Okay, I'll try and jam these ones up. Ready? Oh my gosh, they've come out in 2s. Look at that. One time I had a pedal that did that. The ball bearings should be ideally individuals. I'll just move you up a little bit. You can probably see you better now. Let's get these puppies out of here. That's atrocious. I hope the cup's going to be alright, otherwise we're going to have to change that hole. We might be taking the cups out. The cups are not going to be alright. What are you talking about? They're going to be just the worst ever. Look at this, rust and horror. The actual axle looks to be okay because it's, I don't know, made of different material. Just pushing the cone through, thinking the ball bearings are all going to move. Oh no, this is the other cone. So we're looking about the same on the other side. Plastic thing, and then just tip all the ball bearings through, shall we? Okay, seal here. Other side, non-drive side over here. And let's just show you those horrible ball bearings again. Here I am thinking that this is just going to be a repack job for these ball bearings. Shocker. I was just going to push them through and they'll land in the cup down the bottom. Oh, nasty. 3. Shocker. That's shocking. I don't think we can use the cups. Should we have a little go at sanding them out? How else could I sand these out? Ooh, horrible. Ooh, really terrible. Smash them out with the self-sealing stem bolt. No, it's not a self-sealing stem bolt. It's just a stem bolt. So, you can see that end of that. I can't, but can you? Yep, and it just rests behind there. And we're going to give it a bash. And hopefully we've got some other cups somewhere lying around because I want to keep this hub. Got my earmuffs on. Getting the hammer. I'm getting the hammer. It's hammer time. Oh, it's hammer time. We're going to use the vise as an anvil. And the key to this is gently, gently. Can you see the end? Okay. I can feel movement already, so that's good. Other side. Other side. Yep. That's what I've been hitting. It's just going to pop out now. Use momentum. It's time to use some momentum. Well, if that hasn't gone, I'll be a monkey's uncle. That is a cup. And look at the state of it. Similar to this side. Okay, so they have gone. Now, let's do a little bit of happy wire brushing. Whoa, much nicer. Beautiful. Ready for some cups. Cups that I actually do not have any of. 29.5. 29.5 to the center. 29.5. The middle. 29.5. Right, we're going to take these cups out of this bike hub and plonk them in this one. I'll take these ones out off camera and then we'll come back, shall we? Okay, off camera. See ya. Okay, so hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the party where you remember I just had to find some new cups. Ta-da! Miracle! Lovely new cups out of a second-hand other hub. But then, as you remember, I need new ball bearings, so I just got them out of this hub, different hub. So yeah, lucky I've got so much. I'm a hoarder. Okay, get used to it. I'm not 100% sure this new axle is going to fit inside this new hub. Inside the hub. Of course it is. It's a massive big wide hole here. What are we worried about? We'll put these two cones on this axle and they're on the end of the vise. These are little nuts. They look like they should stay with this one. But I want to use the same seals as I had before. And these cones have just been packed and now unpacked because we're going to need at least that gap there on the other side as well. Seal on. That's good enough. Seal on. Turn it up, side, down. We can't do much else now because we need to put bearings in the wheel. Bearings in the wheel, bearings in the wheel. That cup is going in there. And you know how it goes because you saw the other ones come out. So I reckon if we have a big enough hammer, big enough driver, like a big piece of steel, perfect. We can drive it in evenly the whole time. Should we do it? I think the other side's a bit more even. Okay, we'll try that. Sorry, I'm putting my earmuffs on. You should put yours on as well. So easy. Now that's seated down perfectly. Let's do the other side. First, let's just... Everything has to be pretty dry in here, really. It looks pretty gross, but anyway. This is the new one. Don't destroy all your bearings. Remember we've done the wire brush on that one. Yeah, one for good measure. Done. Cups seated. Let's grease it up and we'll put some more balls in there. Oh, why don't we do our same trick where, we need one at least, do we? Let's put axle in, then we can, sorry about that. Down, seal on. Let's see if that works. Is that going to work? Why is that not like the other side? Because there's not a great big... the seals. That's those other seals I was talking about. These seals just need to be derustificated. Not much around that side. Okay. But generally speaking, there's quite a bit of grease in there. Seal. Why am I doing this? I'm turning it over. If only this video worked in two ways, you guys could have told me. No, don't do that. You've got to turn it over, then do the other side. Okay. I'm turning. What does that look like to you guys? Is that going to fit that? And the ball bearing. Oh God, I hope it's not, it's too big. Okay. Well, conversely, we don't need to count now because I've only got 9 ball bearings left, so don't worry about it. Oh. What are you worried about? Ah, the bits of rust that are in there, that's what I'm worried about. Much better, he said. Sorry, language. That's too far in. Okay, that's too far out. Perfect. Except for that bit there. Tap. Done. Cone. We are so close to getting this on. If that fits. That cone's too big, I think. We might be going back to the other cones yet, boys and girls. Yeah, okay. I will do this and then I'll come back to you in a minute when I've got it all done. Okay, see you. Okay, so welcome back again. I've got all the bearings in, I've got the cones on, and it's feeling really good actually, which is cool, although I know that the cones are not the best in the world. I just need to find another little tiny nut like that to go on this other side. Let's see if we can find one. I don't know why. This one here is way too big. Why is it big? Is it to get the frame past this? I don't know. It's the right one, but it's not going to let me have any frame thickness or... What the heck, I say? See if I run free still. Oh yeah, not too bad. Okay, we're okay. I think I was just getting panicked for no reason. I just have to make sure that seal's getting pushed in. But not too crazy pushed in, just a little bit crazy pushed in. Oh, yep, not too bad. Let's just tighten it up and see how we go. It's not happy. It's not a happy choppy. Yeah, okay. So we'll do it the other way. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Goes on, wherever it is. Yes. Tightens without moving the axle. Done. I can feel already it's much nicer. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we've got running stock again. We'll put this on and we will have a bike that looks like a bike. Okay. Let's have a look if we can get that full brake disc between the permanently locked brakes. I suppose that's better than nothing. Rolling stock. Right hand is the front brake. Now, why is it not looking great going over that side, but that's better. And that is all to come. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. This has been great. It's good to be back into the YouTube videos again. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a like, and I'll see you next time.